Good morning, everybody. Mom Terry here, and boy, do I have a wonderful one for you this morning. But first, let's say hello to Miss Lucy and her new co-star, the fabulous Shelby. There's our little Shelby, and there's our Miss Lucy. How you doing this morning? Used to having fun? You're all playing, aren't you? Yeah, you have a nice backyard right now. They are having so much fun here. They really are. I am watching the house. My friend went off to almost the East Coast. He's halfway through this country. He'll be home in a few days. Phew, I'm glad. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about orbiting. I'm going to give you a drawing of what orbiting means. This video may be a little complicated. It was hard for me to put my thoughts together, but orbiting is a great way to save a lot of money, get used to van life. If you're new to camping in your car and everything, it's going to be a great way to help you. So let me get my little drawing and I'll show you what do I mean by orbiting. And this year I'm orbiting. Usually during the winter I go out to Laughlin, Las Vegas, Quartzsite, New Mexico. I go to all these Western things. The only thing I'm going to do this year is Quartzsite. Quartzsite is about 200 miles from Redlands, California. I'm going to orbit around Redlands, California, but I will do Quartzsite and I'll see everyone in Quartzsite. All right, let me get the drawing. What does orbiting mean? We are gravitating around something. All right, there's Sparkles the van. And there's our little thing with all the gravity. And this gravity can be anything. For me, this year, it's going to be my storage unit. I cannot travel that far away from my storage unit. Why? Because my storage unit has all my emergency prep supplies. Actually, my van right now has my emergency prep supplies. But normally during the winter, what I do is I go up to my storage unit. I get all my extra blankets, extra winter stuff, all my clothes and everything, and 6 months of food. Why? Because if stuff hits the fan and I'm too far away from my storage unit, I better be prepared to live for at least 6 months. And yeah, my hunting skills aren't so good, so a lot of Campbell's soup in there. But you may want to orbit around your family. Let's say someone's going to give birth in a couple of months and you don't want to leave the area, but your lease is up at your apartment. Well, this is a great way to start learning how to live in a van. What you can do is you can get rid of your apartment, maybe put stuff into storage. We're going to touch base on that. But if you're waiting, you may, let's say it's your daughter-in-law, your son, they're going to have a baby. You may be able to camp out over at their place. Get used to learning how to live in a vehicle, and then when the pleasant moment arrives, you'll be there for the birth of your grandkid. I'm going to orbit around my storage unit. What if you like the area? I really love Palm Springs. I may want to take classes out there in Palm Springs. They have some free jewelry making classes. I'm not sure if they're free over at College of the Desert. Sorry. College of the Desert. So I may want to get better at jewelry making. I know my jewelry sells, but the quality can be a little bit better and I can learn a few techniques. Or down here in San Diego, free adult classes, they have music appreciation. I thought about taking that one too. I know nothing about music. I mean, I know I love listening to music. I understand a little bit about music, but how did music evolve? I know everything about art appreciation, but maybe it's time I learned to love music. What if you're still working and you know, you have 2 years to go before retirement and your lease is up, and out here, oh my God, I can't even tell you what out here the rent would be, but Redlands for a 1-bedroom apartment is $2,000 a month. Let's say, you know, you have a couple of years till Social Security kicks in and your apartment lease is up. Maybe you want to move some of your stuff into storage and start practicing living in a vehicle. You know, you may like have showers at your jobs. If you're a teacher and you go to school, maybe you can use the gym there or something. Learn how to park during the day, how to do day city camping, and learn how to stealth camp at night. or like I said, go over to a friend's house, a relative's house. I'm sure if it's in the area where your work is, you know a lot of people. And then events. I would not do this up in Redlands, but during the summer they have a great festival season over at the Redlands Bowl. Why wouldn't I do it in Redlands during the summer? It's 100 degrees at least during the day, and by the time, they start the music at 8:30 at night, and it finally cools down about then. But then you gotta sit in your seats for a couple hours to make sure you get the seat, and I'm not doing 100 degrees, but there's a reason why. So basically, I'm going to orbit around my storage unit, okay? And you can orbit around your school, work, whatever. Now, let's say you're planning to live in a vehicle, but you're not sure. It may not be built out properly. Maybe you can do it on the road. I did all my van building up on BLM property. Really nice for that. Of course, my van, I can turn on my van. It has 110 volts, so I could use my Dremel and everything. But in the beginning, when you start out in van life, you're not sure of a lot of things. How long will you live in the van? I mean, are you going to go cross country? Are you going to be in it for maybe just 6 months? Maybe you have to stay in one area for 6 months, and then you're going to move to Florida or wherever you want to, and then have an apartment there. Putting things in storage is a little bit tricky. Here's how I prepped. Just like Star Trek, how long will your journey be? I started out by saying, America, the final frontier. My 5-year mission is to explore new cultures, taste delicious foods. So instantly I knew I was going to be in a vehicle. I started out in the Prius for 5 years. And now it's almost been 6 years. My birthday, it'll be 6 years. When is my birthday? It's coming up mid-September. Yay! I'm going to be older. Y'all thought I was going to tell you my age. All right, so I knew it was going to be a 5-year mission, so it didn't make sense for me to put my huge sofa into storage. That would have cost a lot. I mean, my sofa, yes, I love big lots. It probably cost $300 or $400, but by the time I paid to put my refrigerator and my sofa into storage at maybe $60 a month, that's $600 a year times 5 years, that's $3,000. So no, it didn't make sense to put the big stuff in storage. What I have in storage is half of it is emergency food preparation, and half of it is my jewelry making supplies. So I'm going to gravitate around my storage unit. My van has a distance range of 400 miles per tankful. Yes. I may do another thing. I may put on a swingway cargo trailer. If I go too far from my storage unit, I may want to stockpile, have some jerry cans full of gasoline. I don't keep up on the news. I don't know really what's happening in this country. I don't need to be sad and depressed. But I do know it's sort of like a little tinderbox right now. I think midterms are coming up in a few months, so I'm just going to wait and see. So I do have a storage unit because of someday I'll. Someday, and I keep reading the real estate housing market, it may hit the fan. That's what I'm waiting for. Sad for everybody that's invested in property. But like I say, leisure world. And I'll probably have a 300 or 600 square foot little place in maybe 5 years. So maybe it's turning into a 10-year plan of travel. I don't know. But there goes my Lucy. But in my storage unit, I have, I think it's 5 by 10, and half of it is emergency prep supplies. Like I said, I have all sorts of food. I could probably live for a couple of years on food. Big blankets, small blankets, lots of clothing. I have about 4 or 5 solar cookers, different ways to cook my food. Just everything. I have my tents there. I think I have 3 tents, from my big clam tent to I have a little instant tent that pops up in 45 seconds. I have the tail veil. So, if I have to go out in the wilderness to survive, if we go through anything, I'm not saying I don't know anything. I just know that I've never seen inflation at such a high rate before. People don't even want to work at some places. You go to Dollar Tree and they have 1 or 2 employees. Yes, I know they don't pay enough, but we're having growing pains in this country. Let me just put it that way. So I am pretty prepared. And the other half is I have all my wonderful jewelry making supplies. So I guess that's about 5 by 5. worth of stuff. So what I'm going to do this winter, instead of doing the Laughlin run, oh, I'm going to miss Laughlin, but I want to orbit around my storage unit. So right now I have my emergency food prepped and all my solar cookers in my van. I'm going to take it out of my van and put it back in all my jewelry making stuff, because I want to orbit around the storage unit. And I'm probably, you know, a lot of people that orbit, they're going to stay close to their job or their family or anything. We do have a lot of Route 66 out in Redlands, but I may just stay out in Long Beach, and then I'll just, whether this is your job or whatever, I'm going to go and come back and not be too far away from it. Long Beach is nice. San Diego's nice. Like I said, I could take those music appreciation classes. So what should you save in storage unit? And I'm sorry this is a little disjointed. I worked hard on the script and I couldn't pull it together, but all the information is here. It'll get in your brain, okay? It got in my brain. All right. I have a large background in vehicle dwelling. I started in the 70s, lived in a bus, lived in a something like a Trans Van, lived in a bubble top vehicle. I mean, most of my life I've been out camping, so I already knew I liked it. But let's say you're new to this, you're scared, maybe you've been busted by the popo, sleeping in your vehicle. Maybe you want to throw everything in your storage unit. I already knew that I would enjoy it, and believe it or not, I'm one of those visionaries. If I tell myself I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to enjoy it. What if you have doubts? Put more stuff in storage. Some things like in storage, like my son's wedding. He sent me all these beautiful frame pictures, so I call them happiness touchstones. I put them in there. All the fan mail I get. Thank you for sending me cards and letters. And Marie over at RV Camper, I got your postcard, so I'm going to do a mail call. Yes, I am. But I keep my happiness touchstones. A lot of the photos I scanned into the computer and put it on a CD many, many years ago, because it's, something I want to, maybe every year I want to see how my son went camping when he was 7 years old. But, I live in the future right now. So those are things that you can do with your storage unit. If you want to keep it but not keep it, scan it into the computer, or just take little screenshots with your cell phone. The cameras on these cell phones are amazing. One very good reason for one to orbit is, what if you want to go to school and finish your degree and you don't want to pay rent? That's another good reason. Higher education is a great idea. Just think of it. People that go to college, they rent these dorm rooms, they take out these huge student loans and everything. You can eliminate all that, put money in your pocket and go to school. Or, what if you just have a small monthly stipend of $500 to $700 a month? You can certainly do this, because you're not going to travel a long distance from your school. I know gas is expensive, but if you're only traveling 3-5 miles a day, you can do it in a Yaris if you choose to. All right, so I'm going to edit this video and see if it makes any sense. I hope it does. But, okay, so I'm going to orbit around my storage unit. But when I come out to Quartzsite, we can, last year it was beautiful out, but I can camp in my van without a heater or anything, and it'd be 30 degrees, 32 degrees. As long as my fluids won't freeze overnight, I'm fine. I could probably sleep in colder weather, but I don't understand things like maybe the oil has to get changed or, for, extreme cold. I don't know. So, I can camp in my van at 32 degrees at night and be toasty warm in my vehicle without a heater or anything. I will show you how I do that, and that's the only thing I'm gonna keep my jewelry making supplies in the van and set my van up for extreme cold weather when I go to Quartzsite. And when I'm at Quartzsite, I will show you all how I do it. It can be 30 degrees outside, and Miss Lucy and I are toasty and warm. Now, true, I have this really cool candle, and it flickers. It sounds like, it crackles. That's what it's called, a crackle candle. It sounds like a fire pit. I love it, and I'll turn it on for 5 minutes to take the chill off, but once the chill's off, I don't need any heat. So if you do come out to Quartzsite, I will show you how I do that, how I insulate my vehicle. And I like the fact that I can insulate my vehicle for the winter And then I have different insulation for the summer. So, I can stay really, really cool. It can be 90 degrees outside. I'll be fine. It can be 30 degrees outside and I'll be fine. And I'll show you all how I do that. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. Write it below in the comments if you have any questions at all. I love your comments. I'm getting back to comments, but first I got to organize yard sale. Yay! Because we are all pack rats. Even Mom Terry is a pack rat. All right, I will see you down the road. Bye. 言葉に頼